Wasn't he me?
And you are live.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the House Education Committee, May 2nd, 2025. And we have some students here with us today that are going to give us some testimony on H54, which is our cell phone free schools bill. I'm not sure who will have start here. Let's just go by the agenda order. And let's start with Manny. Manny, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us which school you are from and maybe what grade you are in, and then go right into your testimony.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Manny Van Fleet. I'm in eighth grade. I go to U32 up in East Montpelier. And so our student council at U32, which I'm part of, has been reading into this bill. And we've talked to a lot of people to really try and gauge what students feel should be done about the phone policy. So what we've got, what we have right now in our schools is, so the high school students are allowed to, they're allowed to use their phone during passing periods and during lunch. And that policy has been in place for a long time, for longer than I've been at school. And students think that it works fine. They think that that sort of taking away phones should be something that the school should do rather than something that a law should dictate. So I've got some quotes here from a couple students, and it really gives their reasons on why they feel the phone, on why they feel that they should be able to use their phones in school. So Benicio Hawks is in ninth grade, and he says, regarding the phone bill, as a multi-sport athlete and as someone who can't drive, planning who will pick me up after practice and taking me places all depends on my parents. Sometimes I have to figure out my plans during the day, and if something urgent comes up that needs to be switched around, I need to have access to my phone to get information from my family. So having access to my phone during the school day is really helpful, and I believe that our rules at school work just fine and that we don't need to ban them. And there are so that's one person that we talked to. Would you mind if I shared one or two more?
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so Ada Coffee is in 11th grade. And she says, cell phones, whether we like them or not, have become an immense part of our lives and culture. Attempting to implement a complete ban of them will only cause more issues than solutions. If you take something away from someone, naturally they will want it more. Honestly, it's like prohibition. Is it really worth trying to change the inevitable truth of our social culture? Schools have the power to create individual policies that are effective. We can use these policies to make a culture where phones aren't always necessary, where social interaction and hard work without technology are possible. But we can't do this with a negative response. We have to use positive thinking and strategies in order to get effective results. Punishing will not change how kids think about phones, and it certainly won't make a ban an easy thing. We need to change our attitudes, and that can change our culture to use cell phones in a less harmful way. So one more that I will read. This is from Vaughn O'Hanlon, who is a senior. You are correct in one thing. This bill will help students socialize, but not in the way that you hope. It will unite the student body against the administrators of the schools. You will force the students to work together to fight an overbearing rule that throws the baby out of the bathwater, as it were. Instead of trying to improve how we use the greatest tool of our age, phones, you have seen the problem and decided no solution is better than amputation. You haven't tried to fix the issue. You've now created a second prohibition. In an attempt to fight, you have created a difficult to enforce and overbearing law that won't work and will be a blight upon schools it plagues. So thank you for your attempt, but please write another draft, one with more flexibility that will help us have a healthy relationship to something that will always be present in our lives.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing other voices into it as well.
Absolutely.
What I would like to do is I'd like to get through everybody's testimony and then do questions after. Is that okay with all of you? Are you all able to hang out for a minute while the other testimonies happen?
Sure.
Everybody's good with that? Okay. So, Brian, hope I'm saying that right. You're up next. Please introduce yourself. Let us know what school you go to and what grade you're in, and then provide your testimony, please. Did you hear me, Brad?
If he can hear you, maybe suggest he'd shut off his camera. Sometimes that'll help.
So, Brad, we're having some difficulty on our end hearing what you're saying. So maybe if you turn off your camera, you'll have a better connection. Okay, try that.
He's still muted though.
Yeah,
Oh, no, that's
that's-
not, never mind. Oh, technology.
Maybe what we'll do, Brad, is maybe we'll hold off for a minute and we'll have Eddie, who's here, provide their testimony, and then we'll come back to you and hopefully we have a better connection at that point. Thank you. All right, Eddie, if you'd like to join us up here. And same for you, if you'd introduce yourself, let us know what school you go to and what grade you're in, and
I have
then.
a whole thing written down.
Perfect.
Great. Hold up.
Perfect.
Apparently I closed it.
Oh,
We're
no,
coming.
we're good.
On accident.
We're good. I threw you out there. Take your time, no rush.
Okay. Hello again. My name is Eddie McGrath. I am a junior at Montpelier High School. I personally have a issue with the fact that a bill like this has even been introduced. It's one thing for a school to have a phone policy. It's another for a whole law to be passed restricting phone use. Today I would like to address a few matters, starting with the bill in question. The bill outlines the definition of social media. According to the bill, social media refers to a website or an online platform that A, allows individuals to register, create an account, or establish a profile for the purpose of enabling users to create, share, and view content generated by other users. B, permits one or more users to produce content that can be accessed by other users of the platform, and C, primarily functions as a medium for user interactions with content created by other users. This definition could classify various Google applications as social media, including tools like Canva, slideshow template websites, and Wikipedia, as well as many numerous digital art programs. This is absurd. Like the fact that it's like worded that way is absurd because like we often rely on these tools for our academic work. Additionally, sometimes we utilize our mobile phones for educational purposes. For instance, if we are in a classroom and need to take a picture, like biology or something, we use our phones. Similarly, if we need to quickly search up information, phones can serve as a valuable resource in our learning process. It would be far more beneficial if educational institutions embrace the use of mobile phones in the learning environment rather than imposing outright bans. I'd also like to mention that many students use their phones to connect with caregivers and their employers to figure out where they're going after school. If students aren't able to get in contact with their employers, that could cost them their jobs, and many students do need those jobs. Something else I would like to talk about that I've already said in a previous testimony, that it's dangerous not to have a cell phone on you. I would like to reiterate that if a student has a medical issue, having a cell phone or a smartphone could save someone's life. What if somebody has like a sudden medical issue, or they are all alone with like no classroom near them and they can't call for help because they don't have a phone on them? That could like having a smartphone on their person could like save their life potentially. Like what if they can't move and they fell down the stairs and they can't move, but they have their phone on them so they can call for help? It's super important. And having their phone on them could get them help quicker. Another thing I mentioned in my last testimony was the fact that if there was a school shooting happen, having a phone would be super important as well. In Montpelier High School's draft for our phone-free plan, the document states the most powerful protective factor against school violence is school connectedness in regards to a shooter incident. If schools really cared about bullying, they would target bullying and not phones. The fact that my school basically said gun violence is fixable through taking phones out of school is like very wrong, and it's kind of horrible for them to say something like that, especially since children have died from school shooting, and to say that like, oh, we just need the school to be more connected and the violence will end is problematic. Another often overlooked issue is that without mobile phones, it becomes more challenging to document incidents as they occur. Students possess the right to record situations where they or their peers feel threatened or mistreated by other students or even educators. Recently, there has been an increase in instances where students have recorded teachers engaging in bullying and outright abusive behavior. I have witnessed videos showing teachers yelling at students, throwing objects, and even physically assaulting them. Just the other day, I came across a video of a teacher and a guidance counselor berating a girl who was just recording for her own protection. Such occurrences are frequent. Many people tend to believe that teachers are beyond reproach, but this is not the case. I can personally attest to this, as I have experienced abuse from the principal and several teachers during my time in elementary school. At that time, I lacked the means to document the incidences, which is one of the reasons my parents decided to provide me with a phone, a sentiment many shared like by many other guardians. If this legislation were to be enacted, what measures would you guys implement to ensure our safety? How would you uphold our rights to document events to safeguard ourselves and our fellow students? Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. You raised some questions about and some things that we've been discussing definitely in this room. So I appreciate that. Brianne, it looks like maybe you're in a better location now. So if you can try your video again if you'd like, but if you can introduce yourself and tell us your name and what school you go to, what grade, and then start your testimony. Not sure, Brand. It doesn't seem like you're coming through here. Submit written.
Yeah.
So I think, Brand, what we might have to do, and I apologize for this, maybe we can have you submit your written testimony to us, so at least we have it, and we can read it and distribute it among the committee here, so we know what your thoughts are. But what we'll do right now is we'll open it up to the committee for any questions, and we'll go from there. So, any questions from the committee? I have questions, at least one of them. How long have you each had your cell phone for? I think, Eddie, you referenced something about that, but so how long have you had the cell phones?
Well, I mean, my current phone I've had for about 4 months, but I've had a cell phone since, 5th grade, after I had left the elementary school. Because my parents wanted me to be able to record in case something like that ever happened to me again.
Yeah. Manny, how about you? How long have you had a cell phone for?
Well, I just got my cell phone this year, when I was going into 8th grade, because my parents found that because I was going to more away sports games and extracurricular activities, that it would be beneficial to be able to contact me from wherever I am.
And each of you have provided testimony that we haven't heard this side of the testimony, to be honest with you, at this point. Most of the testimony we've received have been in favor of having a ban of cell phones. So appreciate the other view on things. Now, in your schools, do you often see phones out, and does it appear to be a problem in the school at all? I understand the reasons why you might want to have them, but does it seem like they're being overused at school at all? Either of you?
Well, some kids use them during lunch,
Mhm.
which that's their free time. That shouldn't be an issue because it's their free time, and as long as they're eating lunch during lunchtime, I don't think it's a problem. I don't really see phones during class.
Yeah.
Usually kids put them in the phone tree, which is that's our policy, is the start of the day or at the start of the class, you put your phone in the phone tree and then you can get it afterward. Either that or like if you don't have one, don't worry about it. So no, I don't really see phones out in class unless a teacher is like, hey, take a picture or something like that. I do see them in the hallways, but a lot of the time it's like kids checking where they're going and then putting their phone back.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Absolutely.
One of the things you were talking about were that there are tools on your phone for academic work, and you mentioned digital art. I wonder, are you an artist yourself, and have like what apps or how have you used your phone for academic purposes?
I am an artist. I use a app on my phone that I draw on. I just like to doodle on it sometimes during lunch. I don't take it out during class. I doodle on paper during class, but I also play music, and there are several like music programs that you can have on your phone as well that could be beneficial. And yeah, I mean, there's also like calculators on phones. So like if the school, like if the school doesn't have enough calculators in one room, you can just pull out your phone, do the calculations right there. Stuff like that.
Manny, how about you? With your, you think what's working at your school for your policy right now on cell phones is sufficient?
Yeah, so the policy in the middle school, which I'm still in, is that you can have your phone on you in case of an emergency, but you're never allowed to use it. It's like from bell to bell.
Okay.
And not once have I seen someone pull out their phone and use it during class or during lunch or even during the passing period. I know that the policy in the high school is different, where you're allowed to have it when you're not in class. And I do see folks on their phones a lot, but from what I've heard from people who are in the high school is that there is not a lot of phone use in class, if any, and it's mostly restricted to when we're actually allowed to use them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the part that you were talking about feeling that you need a phone so that you can videotape people without their consent, who you are perceiving to be bullying. You said you did actually collect footage of a teacher behaving in that way?
No, no, there have been recorded incidents put out on the internet
Okay,
of teachers abusing students, and also, schools, public schools at least, you can film there. It is legal, and you can ask, you can like take stuff down, like if somebody puts a video on the internet that has your face on it, you can ask for it to be taken down, because that wasn't with your consent, but it is legal to record in a school building.
can you, okay, I would want to follow up with, I'm not sure it's quite that black and white. But, so that hasn't been something that's happened at your school, that you've recorded someone?
No,
Okay.
no, but it does happen. And it has happened to me. The reason why I have my phone actually is because it did happen to me and I didn't have video of it.
Appreciate everybody's time. Brandon, what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna get you,